The MenoBelly is something that is continuously crippling women's confidence as they get older. I'm always being asked questions like, why am I suddenly developing all this body fat around the midsection? It seems like as I've got older and as I've gone through the menopause, all my body fat's just shifted onto the stomach. If that's something that you're struggling with and you're wanting to know if one, it can be fixed and you can get rid of that, and two, why is this actually happening as I get older, then this video is going to cover all that for you, and I'm going to give you 3 key takeaways that you can start implementing right after this video so you can start feeling a lot more confident. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am Lewis. I am the owner of the Lemon Frog Fitness Company, which is this gym that you see me sat in right here now. And I've been helping for women nearly a decade now, helping feel more confident in the gym and more confident in their bodies. And this video is going to help you do the exact same thing by teaching you the teachings that I teach them as well. And we're going to try and get through this video in a good amount of time because it is freezing here at the moment. We've just been blasting the heaters as fast as we can. And an off-topic question that I'm going to ask you is, when you go to heat up your place, do you put it on a slightly higher temperature that you want, thinking that it's going to get there quicker? I've always thought that, like, if you put a temperature to like 20 degrees, will it be a little bit slower? Whereas if you turn it on to like 28, it's like, shit, let's get this speeded up quickly. That's something I've always thought about. Anyway, going back to the menopause. So let's talk about why it actually happens in the first place, right? To be able to understand something, we want to actually be able to, to be able to fix something, we need to understand why it's actually happening in the first place. Now, the reason that the MenoBelly starts to happen is because as you go through the menopause, your hormones drastically change, right? They go from being produced normally to a massive drop-off rate. Now, what tends to happen is once you're going through the menopause, one of the key hormones, estrogen, that starts to drop down. When this starts to drop down and your body stops producing as much as it used to, and it gets less and less over the time, your body looks for other ways in which it can produce a small amount of estrogen. Now, in a way that it can do that is through developing more fat cells, basically. Now, fat cells around the stomach can help promote and help produce more estrogen in the body. So it increases the amount of fat cells to try and get out that extra estrogen that you have. So this is what typically happens and why women start developing more of the MenoBelly. When your hormones are in a normal functioning place, women typically have body fat through their thighs and their hips. And again, this is because of estrogen being produced through the natural way of like the hormones being produced through your ovaries, right? But like I said, as you age and that stops to happen, that's why we see that shift away from the thighs and hips and more onto the stomach. And you can say this is more of a male body fat patterning. Males typically tend to store it around their stomach in the earlier days all the time anyway. And this is actually quite bad for health because the fat is around vital organs, which can lead to like heart attack, stroke, cardiovascular diseases. And this is what happens for women once they get past that menopausal age. So that's the changes that happens in your body and what leads to developing that MenoBelly, if you will. So it is a very normal process that a lot of women go through, and that is the exact reason why it happens. Now, I guess the main question that you want to know is, can this be changed? And then also, how can it be changed? So simple answer, yeah, it could be changed. You can reduce your belly fat. You can't do it through targeted exercises. So whenever you see that, like, try this exercise to blast body fat, or try this certain superfood to reduce your body fat, all of this is bullshit. So don't listen to that sort of advice. There's no exercise, there's no foods that are more fat burning, whatever it is, okay? But there's certain 3 principles that we're going to run through in this that will help you lose that and feel a lot more confident in your body as you get older, okay? Now, the first thing that you need to actually do is be moving more. As you go through the menopause and your hormones are changing, this can affect your sleep for one thing, which is going to have a massive impact on your energy and the amount you move. But typically, as we get older, we do move less. Now, not many people take this into consideration. And a lot of people will say like, oh, I haven't changed the way I've been eating. I'm still eating the same things, but I'm just gaining this body fat and this weight. And the reason being is because subtly as we get older, we move less. Now I am caffeined up, so I'm moving a lot more than I usually would, but also because of my age, I am very active. I'm very fidgety. I'm constantly moving. And this burns a lot of calories across the days. I can imagine like in 40 years time, something like that, I probably won't be moving as much as I am now. And it's those sorts of things as we get older, we do subtly do less movements, we're less energized. And then if you throw in the menopause to the situation as well, which you've been going through, then this is going to have impacts on your energy, especially if your sleep's being affected too. So the first thing you need to do is just simply move more so you burn more calories every single day. If you're someone that doesn't do much movement at all, you'll be burning near enough the same amount of calories as someone that's living in a coma, basically. Are they living in a coma? Would you call it that? Would you call it living in a coma, Ryan?
Yeah, I think so.
Living in a coma?
Yeah.
Existing in a coma? Whatever it is, right? Existing in a coma. You're not burning many more calories than someone that's existing in a coma at the moment because you're hardly moving, right? So there's no movement, you're not burning much. It doesn't take much calories to just sit up straight, even if you're at a desk job. But getting up, moving around, standing, fidgeting, doing stuff, this burns so many more calories. In fact, there's been studies shown that I've talked about in many videos that there's some people that burn 100 calories a day through activity, like not terms of exercise, but movement like I'm doing, all the way up to 700 calories per day. A difference of 600 calories, right? You multiply that across a week, you're looking at a pound of fat loss difference per week, right? So moving more is going to be crucial to help you reduce that MenoBelly. That's number one. Number two is being in a deficit. Like, you have to be in a deficit. Like, it doesn't matter what you're going through in life. Like, you're not unique in the terms of, like, put it this way. So many women believe that they're eating in a deficit but can't lose weight. If you're not losing weight, you're not eating in a deficit. No matter how much you believe you are, you don't defy the laws of the universe. If that was a true thing, we'd see people floating around, defying gravity, but it's not the case. And the same comes to thermodynamics, the amount of calories that we burn every single day. So if you're not losing weight, you're not losing body fat, you're not seeing your dress size go down, it's because you're not in a deficit. Now, there are a couple ways in which we can create a deficit. You can either continue moving the same amount that you're doing at the moment, but eat less, creating a deficit. You can eat the same amount that you're doing at the moment, but move more, creating a deficit. Or you can do both at the same time, right? You can move more and create a deficit, therefore putting you into a bigger deficit so you see more fat loss. But the main thing is, and this goes back to, there's no fat loss foods, there's no special foods or anything like that. So don't worry too much about that side of things. You just need to create a deficit and be consistent with it as well. That's the main difference. A lot of people can do a deficit for a couple of weeks, a month, whatever it is, but long term, they don't do it. They don't stick to it long enough to see results. And believe me, I've helped women in the menopause who we've been into tracking their calories, like monitoring their progress, everything like that for 6 weeks, seen no difference. I haven't tweaked anything and said, look, keep going, you'll be all right. And then massive drops in fat loss after that, like huge changes, and we didn't really change anything, right? So it's just about being in that place for a long enough period of time to start seeing results. Now, the third thing that you need to start doing is lifting weights. As you get older, particularly after menopause, because you lose estrogen, your muscles are more accustomed isn't the right word, your muscles are more, what's going to be the word? Exposed? No, I can't think of the word. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I think I've had too much caffeine. They're more at risk for being lost, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like, they're going to be more muscle wastage going on after you go through the menopause. And that is because estrogen levels drop off. So because you haven't got those estrogen levels that you once had, muscle recovery, muscle repair isn't what it once used to be, okay? So once you go through that phase and you're more exposed to losing muscle mass, I think that's the word I was looking for, then this is going to be a big problem long term in terms of the amount of calories that you burn. And it's not hundreds, like a lot of people like to say, that make sure you go to the gym, lift weights. Like, when you have more muscle, you burn so many more calories. It's not that magical of a number, but it adds up over the years. But also, when you have more muscle mass, you're stronger. When you're stronger, you have more energy because things take away your energy a lot less. Like climbing the stairs, running after your grandkids, like whatever it is, like going to the gym. You got more muscle mass, everything's so much easier because you're stronger. So the day's just so much easier, so therefore you have more energy, you can move more, all those sorts of stuff, right? So building muscle is going to be a key thing. But also, put it this way, would you like to lose weight, a substantial amount of weight, or whatever amount of weight that you need to lose? It might not be that substantial that you need to, but still look the same, have the exact same body shape, like from head to toe, like no shape change, you just look a little bit smaller than you used to. No, Like everyone wants to have a better shaped body, more toned, more shape going on, like more definition, right? All that sort of stuff. The only way in which we can do that is by lifting weights. So make sure that you're lifting weights, one, to keep strong, more energized and stuff. Yes, there will be a bit of extra calories burnt because muscle does burn more calories than fat does, but it's not like magical amounts of numbers. And then the third thing is just making sure that, yeah, that you stay strong, energized. I think I repeated that. Did I?
I think so.
I did repeat that, didn't I? Whatever the other point was, that's what you want to be doing, okay? So that's why it's important to make sure that you're lifting weights as you age and get older as well, because it's going to be crucial for helping the body shape change. That was the one, it's changing the shape of your body. And now I'm going to give you a bonus one to end up with, okay? Now this bonus tip is, again, something that has been a game changer for all my clients, and that is eating enough protein. No matter how much you think you're eating enough protein, I guarantee that you're not. A lot of people come to me, or a lot of women come to me and say that, oh, I'm definitely eating enough protein. I'm like, how much are you eating? I'm eating a chicken breast in the dinner time, I'm having a bit of Greek yogurt. It's nowhere near enough, like not even close to it. A chicken breast, you're probably gonna look at like 40 to 50, 55 grams of protein max, depending on how big it is, right? And then yogurt, it's a protein yogurt, 20 grams, but if it's just normal Greek yogurt, looking at 10. So let's be, what's the word? Fuck.
Generous.
Yep, thank you. Let's be generous and say that you're eating about 70 grams of protein. That's nowhere near enough. You wanna be eating minimally, and I'm just guessing this because it depends on like your body weight, 120, 130 grams per day. So that isn't gonna cut it, right? So we need to make sure that we're eating a lot more protein. Now, one, if we talk about fat burning foods, I guess protein can go in there, but the only reason it can is because your body burns more calories through digesting it than any other macronutrient. So put it this way, if you was to eat 100 calories of protein, you're gonna burn 25 to 30 of those calories off that you ate. So instead of you eating 100 of those calories and taking on 100 of them, you're only gonna take on about 70 of those calories. You eat 100 calories of carbs, you're gonna take on about 85 to 90 of those calories. And if you eat fats, you can take in on 97 to 99% of those calories, right? So if we were to say there is a fat burning food, protein can fit that category because again, it burns more calories through digestion. So that's one positive. Another one is it keeps you fuller for longer. The more protein that you have, the more you're going to be satiated throughout the day, the less cravings you're going to have, the less hunger pangs you're going to have, like all this sort of stuff starts to go the more you eat protein. Now, if that's happening, that means you're eating less calories, so therefore you're going to be able to create that deficit a lot more easily. And then the last thing is protein is the only thing that can go towards building, like converting into muscle tissue. So we need to make sure that we're getting enough of it. Whereas carbs and fats can be converted into body fat. So that's your 4 things. Like that's the 4 things that you need to knuckle down on if you want to start feeling more confident and losing the MenoBelly, okay? So going over a recap, we need to move more. Burn more calories every single day through your movement. It's going to make things so much easier. The next thing, you have to be in a deficit. There's no other way about it. Again, if you're not losing body fat, seeing scales go down, all those sorts of stuff, it's because you're not in a deficit. Make sure that you lift weights so you stay strong, you stay energized, you reshape your body, you feel good, you feel confident about yourself. And then finally, get enough protein in. This is crucially important as well. So I promise you, if you start doing these things, you will be able to get rid of the MenoBelly and reduce it and start feeling a lot more confident in the clothes that you wear, and you'll just feel great. So start implementing this from today, and I'll see you in the next video.